high. There's a land that I heard of once in a lullaby. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, bluebirds fly, birds fly over the rainbow. Why can't I? Someday I wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me, and our troubles melt like lemon drops high above the chimney tops. That's where you'll find me. Oh, somewhere over the rainbow, skies are blue, and the dreams that you dare to dream really do come true. I see trees of green, red roses too. I watch them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yeah, I see skies of blue, clouds of white, the bright blessed day and the dark sacred night, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, they're also on the faces of people passing by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love you. I see babies crying, and I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than we'll ever know, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Welcome, everybody. Happy Sunday.
Happy Sunday. Good morning, you guys. Nice to see you, and good morning to the virtual world as well. Thank you all for being here on this beautiful last Sunday of June. Yes. Last Sunday, I know, isn't that amazing? Last Sunday of June, getting ready for new beginnings. We have a new theme for the quarter. I'm very excited about that. We got all kinds of good stuff going on. Let's see, what do I want to tell you guys that's happening? Is Magdalena doing mantras today?
She did, yeah. I heard it.
She already did, huh?
Wonderful.
Yeah, today was the day, and so wherever they are, or anybody, but yep, so that, and you had your class, so that was good. So it was a busy Sunday so far. And let's see, so there's a board meeting July 13th for everybody to know. We do them once a month. And, they are the business of what we're doing. And this one's going to be a really important one because we are changing the bylaws or making some adjustments to the bylaws. Not anything terribly radical, but something that's important. And so if you are a member, it's really important to be there so that we can adjust our bylaws accordingly. That's going to be a good thing going on. Let's see what else is happening. There's one thing that's getting ready to happen that I am so excited about. I have to tell you, I went home Sunday ecstatic. And this is what it was, because this is something that I have wanted to do in my 20 plus years of ministry. And that is to do a book study on the Lord of the Rings. So I'm really thrilled to do this. In fact, I started reading The Hobbit already. You don't have to read The Hobbit, but I'm reading The Hobbit. You should read The Hobbit, but it's not necessary for Lord of the Rings. But anyway, I'm in it. So you are probably going to hear a lot of Lord of the Rings for the next several months on talks because I'm just so excited about it. And we haven't set what Sunday it's going to be because we also think that it's going to be important just to have that open conversation that happens where we just have kind of a spontaneous conversation about whatever is up. So what that looks like is 2 Sundays a month I'll be available for that, and one of them will be in drag, meaning it'll start with Lord of the Rings and who knows where it will go, and then the other one will be who knows where it will go. So those things are happening and I'm excited about them. We have ongoing youth and family ministry going on right now, even as we speak, down in the back of in what we used to call the teen room. It's in the far back of the church. So if you know anybody with children and they would like to come to service, or they'd just like an hour break during the week, let them know. We're there. We got it. We got you going there. Well-being in the Dow happens on Sundays at 9 a.m. And you just finished the first draft of your book. That's fabulous. I know. That's very cool. So I'm sure that's coming down in the class. Anything you want to say about that? Okay, cool.
2 months.
Cool, we got that going on. Open Mind Gift Shop. You know, I have not mentioned this in the last couple months that I've wanted to. We have started carrying Nature Sunshine herbs. And so, you know, I, as a metaphysical doctor, not a real doctor, I can't recommend anything and tell you what you should do other than you should trust your intuition. But I have it from the highest authority, Gary Richer, that's Nature Sunshine herbs are probably the cleanest and the best out there. And so consult your health professional, talk to Gary or something like that. But we've got really good, clean herbal supplements that are also there among everything else that we've got going on in the Open Mind Bookstore. It is a truly metaphysical boutique, so check it out. And the women that work it are just delightful people. You'll have a wonderful time while you are in there. Ministry of Prayer, always important. So every Friday morning at 7:30, the practitioners gather on Zoom and we pray. And we pray for anyone and everyone's intentions. We check in and we just kind of see the life of the center and how we can support them in prayer. So if you have prayer requests, you can fill them out in the narthex and just know that we will pray on them. If you'd like us to reach out for you, there's a box you can check on that, and we'll absolutely do that as well. You can also have prayer several other ways. One is after service, you can walk to one of the practitioners. That will be Paul or Andrea. Who else is here practitioner-wise? Terry is not here, huh? Liz was right there. I'm looking right at her beautiful face. Liz is right there. So you can talk to one of them and they'd be happy to pray with you. Paul will be doing a prayer service about 10 minutes after service in the Emerson room. So there are ways to pray. What is that? Oh, that's the tithe for possible. Thanks. You all make this possible. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to read that. And there's butterflies. So there you go. So before we start, we have a question of the day. And that's a perfect picture for that. So here's the question. What connects you to the world? What connects you to the world? Jim, you want to start? If you got a, okay.
Good morning. So mine is more like an affirmation. And I would say that I am an expression of nature, the same as a mountain or a tree. I am not in nature. I am not visiting nature. I could not be more connected to the world, nor could I be not connected to the world. I am 100% natural.
I love it. Perfect. Yeah. What Jim said, but also from an artist's perspective, the ego, the me, what connects me to the world, is narrative. I always like to think about The first art form is narrative language. It connects us through stories. I like you, I love you, that's a story. And so what connects me to this planet and this being is the awareness through narrative.
Beautiful. Paul, how about you?
Everything that Lee said, and
And probably
Yes.
Richard.
and yeah, I like that. I was pondering recently about how the narrative, like we are each living out our own myth, and the myths of the stories that I bring to the world and the people that are around me, and just the beauty and the intricacies beyond everyone's trauma and what everyone is experiencing, that there's this beauty and magnificence to everyone and to everything. So that's what connects me.
Beautiful. So anybody out here, what connects you? Paul, you take the wandering mic out there. What connects you to the world? Chris, good to see you.
Hi, I'm Chris. And what connects me to the world is my awareness that my conscious thoughts, my consciousness are divine, and that the divinity is in everything and everyone I see, and we are all one.
All right, yes. Clap, that's worthy of a clap, yep.
Hi, I'm Liz, and it's a great probe. I think two things for me. Love, which is expressed as far as our desires of what we each want. And when you travel, you recognize how international those values are. No matter what color our skin or what language we're speaking, we really all want the same things deep in our hearts. And I call that love. And the other thing is music. Music unites us internationally as well, and that makes me feel connected with the world.
Beautiful. All right, Carol's back there. Carol.
Yeah, one of the things that I believe deeply is that we are all spirit having or participating in a human life adventure game. So it had a beginning, it has an end, and we each came here with a little bit different objective of how we win our own game. So I look at it and say what connects me to the world is everybody else here is playing the same game. So how can we all win?
All right. Anyone else? What connects you to the world? Got a hand up here sort of tentatively, but we got one back there and one there. There we go, Mary and then Deb.
My job, and that sounds like an odd thing, but I create interiors for people and I make their lives better, and there are people that come in every day that I get to meet new people all the time and to make a difference.
Absolutely. All right, that's up here. Yeah.
Hi there, everyone. Thank you for that question. These questions are great, because it makes me think about it. So today, what connects me to the world? When I got in touch with what connects me to the world was that somewhere deep inside of me, sometime long ago, I've staked claim to making a difference in the world, having an impact in the world that lives beyond my life.
I love it. Yeah. Here. Anyone else? Anyone else? Okay, so Paul will lead us into prayer. But before that, before I do that, I just want to bring people's attention to something that some of you knew. Our beloved Harry Carpenter, and he made his transition last week. Bless his heart. I had been visiting him a bit, and he was 93. He was feeling ready. He was feeling very complete. His family was around him. There was great love, and he and Jane have just been remarkable members of our community, just remarkable over the years. But anyway, just holding our thoughts, beloved Harry and beloved Jane. If you know Jane, I'm sure she'd love if you reached out to her. But anyway, so that's going on. So Paul will just let you, with that, take us into service and prayer.
So hello everyone, my name is Paul Calabro. I'm a practitioner here at the center, and it is a privilege and an honor to lead you in prayer today. let us just begin by just connecting to our own self, right? To our own breath. And let's go ahead and just breathe in. And then breathe out. Breathe in. And just breathe out. Because what I know today is that we are connected and we are brought together by a divine idea. This idea is love. This idea is God. For it is that presence of life that is infused in everything and each and every one of us. For I know that this presence of God is that light that shines so ever brightly in each and every one of our experiences. And that we are here today to affirm that essence nature of God. That it is the presence that leads us, it guides us, and it directs us. That presence of love. And so I know that that presence here now is reflected in all ways and goes with us in all ways. For it is that presence that we affirm here and now. And so with that, I simply release this prayer to that one mind of God. I'd call it forth into being by letting it be so. And so it is. And so the theme of the week is freedom from discord. And whenever I would read that, it always makes me go inward and really reflect on that meaning. So I'm really happy that we're exploring that phrase that is in our Declaration of Principles here at Centers for Spiritual Living. Freedom from discord. I also heard the notion of liberation come up too in the past weeks or so, and it's also associated with that. I associate freedom from discord with liberation as well. Like, what is holding you back? What is limiting you to feeling this sense of liberation? And ultimately, I think that connection to that divine presence. And so this reading was chosen by a man named Jason Crandall, and I don't know if you yogis may know him, but he's a highly regarded American yoga teacher, trainer, and podcaster, best known for his deep impact on yoga education and practice. And I really thought that what these words that he spoke about liberation describes it quite well. And it's about, what practices we undertake in our lives. What practices? A practice could be prayer. A practice that we have could be cooking. A practice, it could be a yoga or exercise. Just something that clears the way, that allows us to become a little bit more freer from discord in our experience. And so the reading goes, liberation happens and can only happen when everything is perfectly still, including thoughts, feelings, and all constituents of the self. Jason Crandall. And now let's go ahead and contemplate and meditate on those words to really practice this idea of freedom from discord. Many blessings, and so it is.
So it is. Since Paul brought up the quote from a yogi, and I'll play my little yoga song about freeing and liberating the inner world from all the conditioning and the worries. And these songs aren't about, not paying attention to things that are important. It's about letting go of the things within you that hold you back from helping what's important. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Bow your crown, everybody, to the ground. Everybody, slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one, we know, oh. So flow, let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one, we know, oh. So flow. We're all looking for something from the time we enter. We're all looking for something till we're back to center. Are you looking for something? Is it not in the room? Are you looking for something? Does it feel like doom? Let it go, 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 go. Go slow, everything's just one, we know, oh. So flow. Let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one, we know, oh. So flow. Now breathe, surrender, breathe, surrender, that heart extender, just breathe. Do this puffs with me. Say breathe, surrender, breathe, surrender, that heart extender, just breathe. Let it go, 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 go. Go slow, everything's just one, we know, oh. So flow, let it go, 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 oh. Go slow, everything's just one, we know. So flow. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Bow your crown, everybody, to the ground. Everybody, slow it down, everybody, slow it down. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Jim Jones. And please give it up for our Reverend Dr. Guy Williams. Thanks, Rev.
Paul, fabulous song, wonderful. And here we are. So I just want to make a little bit of a correction, something that Paul said, because he was absolutely right that the theme of the week is freedom from discord, but actually it is a seasonal thing. We do things just a little bit different here. Oftentimes spiritual centers will do a monthly theme. I'm a slow learner. So for me, what I think is more interesting and juicy is, as opposed to just spending a month on a theme and just kind of, running them through like japa beads, it's like, why not spend a season on a theme and just let it really kind of sink in? Like Lee was saying, to go slow with it, to let it kind of into us. And so my offering then for this season, and how appropriate for summer and the fullness of what it is, and the expansion of things, and all the elementals being up there, and the holidays that we have as a nation, us in France, because the French Revolution, Bastille Day is the 14th of July. So we're in kind of an idea of what liberation or freedom means that way. And so I love to see the origin of words, because sometimes I'm very curious to know what I'm talking about. And so I thought to myself, what does this mean, freedom from discord? Ponder that. What starts percolating in you when I say these words, to freedom from discord? Ernest Holmes, the founder of our particular New Thought denomination, talks about that. He talks about how each and every one of us is sort of called to be an emancipation, is the word that he would use, from any discord of any form whatsoever. But this idea of freedom from discord. So the other day, Andrea and I were driving down to San Diego to see my stepfather, and we were listening to a podcast, and a woman by the name of Carolyn Case, and I really like her because she's all into words herself. And so she said freedom comes from the Indo-Germanic word frocho, which means beloved or friend. And Andrea turns to me and she goes, there you go, there's your talk. I was like, I was trolling, I got it. So if freedom means to befriend or the beloved, what is discord? Well, it comes from the French cordia, which is the Old French heart. So it means freedom from discord really means to be befriending the heart. Or another way of saying this, I think, is resonance. And so when Jim earlier talked about not being, living in nature, but being nature itself, that's a sense of resonance. It's about what it means to literally feel inside. There's here comes Tolkien. So in the Silmarillion, I think the Silmarillion has probably one of the most beautiful creation myths I've ever read of any scripture, whether it be the Dhammapada or the Gita or the Upanishads or the Christian or the Hebrew Bible or whatever. I mean, they're all beautiful stories because they're theopoetic, meaning, the poetry of our relationship to the divine. And Tolkien, who is this incredibly deep, profound thinker, this was a guy who he was a linguist by education, among other things, but he not only invented a language, but he created poetry in that language and histories of that. But in the Silmarillion, the creation story is Iluvatar, that Ein Sof, that beingness of all things, begins to create through song, through music. And what happens is there's one character there that creates dissonance. And then Iluvatar just weaves that dissonance back into the melody itself. And so there's always this possibility then of bringing resonance into dissonance. And I think the freedom from discord is simply that. It's our capacity to bring resonance where there's dissonance, where there is discordia, where the heart is disturbed, where we may feel distant from the heart, or broken from the heart, or the heart aches, or whatever the case may be. Because this truly is, the essence of all bondage is coming from there, and I want to get into that in just a few minutes. But so this idea then that freedom from discord is the capacity to enter into the experience of resonance, of feeling part, not separation. Something that Dr. Holmes talks about is he says that we can take any condition that we may be suffering in, and I know that this is blithy and pithy, but it's worth pondering this. He says, you can take any condition that you may be suffering from, and if you distill it down and distill it down and distill it down, eventually what you come to is an experience of separation, cut out, discordia. And so if separation is that which creates the suffering, then it is wholeness, that sense of connection or resonance that really begins to bring the cure. So, as I was getting ready to come into the center today to get ready to do this, I always listen to music, one form or another, and I think it's always very fun. I always love to ask people, what was the soundtrack of the day for you? What was the soundtrack of what you were listening into? And maybe I'll ask that right now. Any takers? What was your soundtrack this morning coming in? Johnny Cash, love it. Anyone else? Yes. Oh yeah, I love that song. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Who? Michael Jackson, right on. Which, a particular song? The way you make me feel. Yeah, right on. That's a worthy one. Yes.
Daniel Boone.
Daniel Boone.
Beautiful Sunday.
Beautiful Sunday. Fabulous. Yes.
A local band named Mango Source.
Mango Source. Mango Source. Anyone else? Neil Diamond. Yes. Neil Diamond. Crosby, Stills, and Nash. They're kind of a go-to for me on that one. And Wah. Beautiful. Yes. Jimmy and Enrique, local boys. Yes, nice. Out there in the virtual world, you can always text in or put it in the comments what you're listening to or who you're listening to. These are the soundtracks. So, how many were listening to Rick Wakeman? How many even know who Rick Wakeman is? You're right on, thank you. Yes. So Rick Wakeman, the myths and legends of King Arthur was the particular album that I was listening to. It was made in 1974. So I was listening to that, and I found myself, whosoever shall remove this sword from the stone, he shall be the true king of Britain. Bum, 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 and off it goes. And it's upbeat, and I'm in it, and I'm driving, and I'm in this space, and I'm realizing what's happening to me is there's this deep longing that's given permission to start welling up, because that's what music does, right? That's what music does, is it creates an opening for that which we long, that which we desire, that eros inside of us to find an expression of something. And when I was in it, and I was thinking, oh, the myths and legends of King Arthur, and I was really, I love them. What was that? What was I? I'm not going to try to remember the name of the book right now because I'll go down another rabbit hole. But I was thinking to myself, the Crystal Cave, that was it. But I was in this sense of longing, and I thought, oh my goodness gracious, I'm longing for the King. And I thought, well, isn't that interesting? Me, of all people, me who can probably be defined best by my contradictions. Me, who is, sort of a New Thought, Freemason, anarchist, Christian, longing for a king. What's that about? And what I got is it's not so much the king, but it's the idea or the hope of what a king means. It's that which brings justice. It's that which brings freedom. Because what I also know is, kings have a tendency to set up empires. Empires have a tendency to become bloated and rot. And if we look at any of the sacred scriptures, the Bible, the Bhagavad Gita in particular, but any of these, or if we are ever a student of history, what we realize is that part of the human spiritual, emotional, intellectual evolution of what it means is we're always in this struggle between justice and empire. The myths and the legends of the Hebrew Bible, the story of Arjuna and Krishna on the field of Kurukshetra, they're all about this. They're all about what empire is, that force that occupies, that thing that becomes tyrannical, and how these populists always give way to this, and there's always that sense of disappointment because there's always this hope that something outside of us can bring to us what we're yearning for on the inside. And the thing about New Thought is New Thought grows out of, if we were to do our history a little bit, it grows out of the Hermetic tradition. So we understand this idea that everything that happens on the outside is reflective of a process that begins on the inside. And so we want to change it on the outside, but unless it happens on the inside, nothing begins to change because we always just revert back to the same default, the same pattern, the same thing, because The resonance that we're practicing, or the dissonance that we're practicing, is the thing that begins to create the experience by which we build the superstructure of our very life. Does that make sense? So this is something that you're probably thinking right now, this is something that the 18th century philosopher Jean-Jacques Rousseau said. He says, man is born free, but is everywhere in chains. We are born free, but wherever you look, we're in bondage. Or we're looking for ways to be in bondage. One way or the other. You know, and I thought about that because, you know, something that I gently, respectfully disagree with in New Thought is the idea that freedom, like prosperity, are our divine right. They are not our divine right. Nor do I think we deserve it, that we are entitled to it. Everybody's breathing. What I do begin to understand is that there is something within us that recognizes it and longs for it and desires it. And that's the powerful thing. It's not, because I think if we start thinking that we deserve it or that we have a right to it or any of those kinds of things, any kind of ideas of entitlement, then we have a tendency to project it onto something external as opposed to doing the inner work to cultivate it within us. I think that very essence, if we are made in the image and likeness of that which is the Holy One that is, then it is within our nature to seek it and to grow for it and to do it. And so therefore, when you read these stories, myths, and legends, they're all about the adventure that takes us to the thing that we desire. It's not simply bestowed on us, but it is something that we seek. In another way, I would say not respectfully, my lips aren't working. Reciprocity. On that level, that which we are seeking is seeking us. There's a luring of it toward us in that sense. Because I think in many ways, what I would say is this, is freedom, like hope, like faith, they live in the means, not in the end. They are action-oriented concepts. One moves towards freedom to sustain freedom. One moves towards hope to sustain hope. One moves towards faith to sustain faith. They don't just sort of fall out of the sky, and they don't just sort of magically appear. But it's a level at what happens on the inside. Are you with me on this one so far? So I think about that, and again, what I would offer is this. It's a state of being. It's a state of consciousness. And what I would also offer in that is a formula that I want to offer to you that comes out of Tolkien. And I think I'm going to give you the formula first, and then I'll circle back to the formula. But before that, I want to say something about why I admire Tolkien, what are the many ways I do. And not that I think he's the second coming, nor do I want him to be king, because we probably would disagree on a lot of things. He was a traditionalist, I'm not. But there's things about, this is a man who was remarkably moved by the tremendous loss of those who he loved and was closest to during the First World War. This was a man who was deeply moved and driven by this incredible love for this woman, Edith, where there were so many obstacles about him being able to finally achieve her, and they were happily married and had beautiful children and all of that. But there was a story about that. He was a linguist, like I said, who created these incredible worlds of imagination. In fact, one of the interesting things about The Hobbit is that The Hobbit was revised several times as he was writing Lord of the Rings and realizing that in order for Lord of the Rings to be congruent, He needed to rewrite history in The Hobbit. And that's a principal difference between literature and history. In literature, you are allowed to go back and change history. In history, you're not allowed to go back and change it. It's what is. And you learn from it, you grow from it, you have insights from it, but you don't basically say, no, it didn't happen that way. You accept the fact that it happened that way, and then we're at a choice. Because for Tolkien, as this incredible person that he was, who did this incredible body of work, for him, we would understand that he is the sum of all the experiences that he went through and were part of who he was, produced the choices that he made that brought him to create this incredible body of literature and so on and so forth. Not unlike you. That you are the sum total, this moment, of all those experiences and decisions that you have made. And here you sit, now in this moment, always at a place where there is an intelligence that is luring. There's something that is inviting. There's a beingness that we are part of that is always doing. So yes, Tolkien was the sum. You are the sum. I am the sum. So is the tree outside. So is that murder of crows you saw driving in. So is every beautiful oak tree that we celebrate at the summer solstice. So is everything in this world a sum of its experiences. And so when we look at the world where it is today, how did it get here? It got here from all those experiences and all those choices of everything that was participating on this planet, bringing us to where we are at this moment. And so is the solar system. And so is the galaxy. And so is the universe. That nothing is independent on its own. This idea that something is separate from all that is nonsense. It's not. But that everything, and so as everything in this universe is evolving and growing and learning and expanding and becoming more aware, each and every one of us are that as well. We could almost say that we are an intelligent universe becoming self-aware by the very fact that we are having a conversation about it. That we are the eyes and the ears, the hands and the feet of an expanding universe, an intelligent universe that is finding its expression as each and every one of us. And so the formula, thought I lost it, huh? So the formula, I want to say, comes from one of the characters in The Hobbit. And The Hobbit is, the beauty of The Hobbit, there's so many things about The Hobbit that I love, but we're not going to do The Hobbit, we're doing The Lord of the Rings. But I will do The Hobbit for you. Or you can do The Hobbit yourself. By the way, there's a great recording, Andy Serdikas, who did it on Audible. It's fabulous. So you can listen to it as well. But anyway, first of all, is that within each of us, even when we try our very best to suppress it, there is a yearning for adventure. Admit it to yourself this moment. You are longing for an adventure of one form or another. Something is there, and there is a wisdom that when we least expect it, that will come. And so there's this excitement that we're on an adventure, and the more conscious we become of the fact that we are on an adventure, it's kind of like what Carol was saying, call it a game, call it whatever you want to call it, but there's something that's yearning in us to expand, to grow, to have this adventure. And so in The Hobbit also, the formula, I am going to get to the formula, in The Hobbit also, the formula of how one achieves freedom from discord. There is a character in there. He's a dwarf king. His name is Thorin Oakenshield. Everybody know Thorin Oakenshield? He waved his hand singularly alone, like a candle in the wind. That's okay. I'll tell you about Thorin Oakenshield, a little bit about him. He's a dwarf. Dwarfs were one of the races of beings that are in this incredible world that was created by Tolkien. And, dwarves love to create. They're artists, they're artisans. They come from the earth, they build, they love gold, they love jewelry, they love all these things. Power. Power corrupts. Power corrupts. The desire for more corrupts. One of the things about The Lord of the Rings, as we'll get into it, is how none of us are immune to the lure of more. I can do it my way. So Thorin gets this, but Thorin then, at the end of his life, he is conversing with Bilbo, and Bilbo is this trickster. He's this everyman. He's this character. He's a hobbit. Hobbits are a simple folk. They like comfort. They like having 2 breakfasts. They like having after dinner. I love hobbits. I relate to hobbits. But Thorin says this. These are wise words I'm about to say. I think the wisest words I've ever spoken, honestly. So, at the end of his life, as Thorin is reflecting upon his life and he's speaking to Bilbo, he says this: if more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. Right? If all of us valued food, the sharing of a meal, of cheer, of song, of fellowship, of good times that we spend with others, if we love that more than we hoarded or kept in or wanted to protect the things that we have, how much better a world we would be in. I think that's to me, that is the wisdom that is there. And what I would say is, it goes back to this idea that everything is connected to everything else, and that how we live in the world determines the sum of the world that we live in, right? And how we learn from what we have. George Santayana says it this way. He says, those who cannot remember the past are condemned to repeat it. Right? We've all heard that before. Those who cannot learn from the past are condemned to repeat it. And let me just say this as well, something that my teacher used to say. Those who suppress the past intend to repeat it. Yeah. Those who don't remember are sort of condemned to repeat it. Those who suppress it intend to repeat it. And we should watch that as that kind of unfolds to where it is. But, if we go to this idea that everything is interconnected to everything else, something that Pierre Teilhard de Chardin would call holons, that everything is complete within itself, but part of something greater than itself. An atom is complete within itself, but part of something greater than itself called a molecule. And a molecule is complete within itself, but it's part of something greater than itself called a cell, an organ, a body, a species, a planet, however you want to go. But that everything is complete within itself, but then part of something greater than itself. So, we are moving to one of my favorite holidays this year, which is the 4th of July. And what I love about the 4th of July, I love a lot of things about the 4th of July, but it is, it's sort of like, the story of the Exodus in some ways. There's a mythic part of it because, here were these young men and women who were revolutionaries, and they were throwing off a tyrannical king. They were wanting this level of self-determination. And that comes from ideas developed by people like Rousseau, who were products of the Enlightenment. This idea of throwing off the shackles of tyranny. And it's sad to say that they were throwing off the thrashes of empire, and then we become an empire, go figure. But then again, that's where history repeats itself if we're not paying attention, is that we end up in these things. But these young men and women who were creating a revolution. You know, and the mantra was that I love to repeat this time of year. My beloved probably gets sick of it because I say it all day on the 4th of July. You know, up the rebels, down the tyrants. Up the rebels, down the tyrants. You know, up the rebels, down the tyrants. And but think about it from a metaphysical point of view. I mean, because again, we're remembering if it's happening on the outside, it has to happen on the inside. There was a great book years ago called The Aquarian Conspiracy. Hands. The Aquarian Conspiracy, Marilyn, whatever her name was. You read it. Sometimes I feel lonely out here. But it's a fabulous book because one of the things that it talked about is, you know, the whole revolution of the 60s imploded because it was all external and not internal. And so it just kind of fell back, you know, and you know, look at those 60s people that were going to change the world and we were going to do this and we were going to do all these things. We all became boomers, right? Look at the world that we're in today. You know, it was not internalized. It was solely on the external. So it's how we change it. And so my offer is today, on this 4th of July, is to consider this. If we are seeking a freedom from discord, if we're trying to find resonance within our heart, we're not going to find it outside. There are no messiahs coming. There are no populist leaders leading. There is no technology available. There is no political discourse that is there. None of those things will save us because, by the way, when we look back in history about how those things worked, never. Maybe there's something else. Maybe there's something else. You know, St. Paul said it. Very interesting. St. Paul wrote a really interesting letter to a community in a town called Corinth. And what was happening in this town of Corinth is that the community was fighting. Everybody thought they were right about this and how you dress and what you eat and what you do and how all these things were doing and all this kind of thing. And the thing about being right is you make everybody else wrong. And the more right you think you are, the less teachable you become. You become calcified in an idea. And Paul, he was a process thinker, whether he knew it or not consciously, because the process theology had not been developed, or neither had Teilhard, or he had not read The Hobbit. But what he did say is, we have to look at a community like a body. That if everything is connected, think of it as a body. And what that means that every part of the body deserves nurturing and caring and taking care of and being aware. And that every part is important because if one part of the body is in discord, and we have all had a sore toe or a headache or a thrown back or whatever the case, the whole body feels it. It's the same with a community. It's the same with a nation. If there is discord anywhere, we all feel it. And how we deal with it is to love the body, to nurture the body. There is ancient Hebrew wisdom from the first of what we believe of the known prophets, Hosea. And I think he gives an image of how we go about doing this. He says, I will espouse you forever. This is the Holy One speaking. I will espouse you forever. I will take you as my beloved forever. And I will espouse you with righteousness and justice, and with goodness and mercy. And I will espouse you with faithfulness. Then you will know the Holy One. If you want to find resonance, if you want to experience freedom from discord, then pursue above everything else justice, right livingness, goodness, mercy, not power or control, but justice and mercy. And then we will find resonance. And the easy way to do that is, if more of us valued food and cheer and song above hoarded gold, it would be a merrier world. up the rebels, down the tyrants. Happy 4th of July.
I'm a rowdy bunch. Thanks, Rev, always. All right, let's sing along here. All right, Jim, again. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This life, thank you for this life, Spirit, thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit, thank you for this life. This glorious, this glorious, this glorious, this glorious life. This glorious, this glorious, this glorious life. This earth, thank you for this earth, Spirit, thank you for this earth. Thank you for this earth, Spirit, thank you for this earth. This wondrous, this wondrous, this wondrous, wondrous earth. This wondrous, this wondrous, this wondrous earth. Back today, thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit, thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This breath, thank you for this breath, Spirit, thank you for this breath. Thank you for this breath, Spirit, thank you for this breath. This nourishing, nourishing, this nourishing, nourishing breath. This nourishing, this nourishing, this nourishing breath. Life, thank you for this life, Spirit, thank you for this life. Thank you for this life, Spirit, thank you for this life. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful, beautiful life. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful life. You sound so beautiful. And Walter.
So wow. Again, every Sunday, it's just amazing. I'm just like that talk, I can just really dissect it and just delineate and just, it's amazing. And so that brings us to this experience of conscious giving, and that's a testament to how this place is a testament to how there is a level of liberation that we can experience in our lives. And just really the essence, nature of all that has been said, that speaks to that wonderful presence that we all have within each and every one of us. And by gathering here, we get to magnify this beautiful experience even more. So a way we can magnify that is by expressing ourselves and giving. And so we give from a place of ease and grace. We give from a place of going inward and being free from discord. And how beautiful is that, right? To not have to give because, I have to give, but just to give because every Sunday I come here, I experience this beautiful peace. And it's just empowering every time I experience that. And that sense of love, that sense of harmony, and that sense of truth. So if you're giving today, you can place your gift on your heart, or even if it's a gift of prayer, or even if it's the gift of knowing that we are loved and that we belong. I know that this gift goes forth to that beautiful presence that I am, and that presence that simply magnifies and that is multiple, and that's never divisive. It simply expands to a greater good. And so what a blessing this is, this gift. I release this prayer, I call it forth into being. I let it be so, and so it is.
Steve, the barcode. And so if you're someone like myself who periodically loses his checkbook, you can always use Venmo on our barcode there, and it'll get you home. So thank you all for being here today. I deeply appreciate it. Like I said, I'll set dates on when we're going to do our first Tolkien thing. I think maybe we'll even do some watch parties as we go through the different books. Yep, and if there's anything, please feel free to reach out. Let's see, is there anything I need to say? Paul's going to do a prayer service. I want to thank everybody. I want to thank Steve and Gary. Thank you, Gary, for always showing up, man. You know, Gary was on the board that hired me. So if you ever wonder how this guy got here, thank Gary. Or if you ever wonder, whatever you... I know how it, yeah. Mm-hmm. That was him. That was it. Yeah, that was 20 years ago. Yeah. Well, thank you, Gary. Thanks, Gary. So, and thank you all for being here today. Thank you, Mike and Steve, for doing sound and making it look good. Mark, thank you for all the beauty that you create around here. Noreen and Sherry, thank you guys for all that you guys do. Art's our board president, man. If you ever want to know what's going on in the life of the church, go see Meredith. She's one there. Thank you for her. Our practitioners, Liz, Andrea, who does so many things. Our greeters today. Our dogs today, our music today, anybody and everybody, you for being here, all of it. It's just, let us just realize that we have way more to be grateful for than sorry for. We have one what? What about Henry? You were a greeter today. Fabulous. Nice, man. I would love to see that smiling face walking in this door. Yeah, that's great. All right, with that, let us pray our way. First I want to say is, up the rebels and down the tyrants. Wherever there is within us, what is that Hafiz poem before we pray? That Hafiz poem, I love it. He says, the small man makes prisoners of everyone he meets. The wise woman slips under the moon and throws keys to the rowdy prisoners. So let that wise woman throw keys to us rowdy prisoners, that wherever we may feel or experience any form of tyranny, that we in consciousness rebel against it, push back, that we affirm no to anything that makes us small, and yes to that which lures us to amazement and wonder and surprise. And in doing so, may it bring us a sense of reverence, that willingness of knowing that we are interconnected and part of something greater than ourselves and yet distinct with who we are. And from there, may we all find the joy in song and food and music and cheer, away from the tyranny of hoarding anything. May we be great and not small. So it is.
So it is. All right, here's a song about fellowship that we can sing along to. When the night has come and the land is dark, and the moon is the only light you see. No, I won't be afraid. No, I won't be afraid. Just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. If that sky that we look upon should crumble and fall, and the mountain should tumble to the sea, I won't cry, no, I won't shed a tear, just as long as you stand by me. And darling, darling, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Chorus here. Whenever you're in trouble, won't you stand by me? Oh, stand by me. Oh, stand by me. Stand by me. Stand by me. Much. Thanks, Walter. Happy Sunday, everybody. Much love. Thanks, Stephen Jones.
Let's eat.
Oh, beautiful. For heroes proved in liberating strife, who more than self their country loved, and mercy more than life. America